everyone. So I got a request by you, Olive, to do a video on Ian. I saw that he was involved in a scandal in 2018 and you didn't say anything else beyond that, so I assume you just want a little bit more insight, or you're curious as to what I would see with regards to this, to see. Honestly, it feels like maybe if you have any personal theories or insight yourself on this situation, or maybe there's some forums or I feel like conspiracies surrounding this, or ideas surrounding this that maybe you could potentially be considering. The reason I say this is because I do feel like Ian is involved in some sort of organization or has like connections with people who are well connected within some sort of system that is financially powerful. So they're very powerful worldly, and it feels very evil. He feels very evil, and the people around him that he's associating with, it feels like a secret organization that's very evil, because he feels happy. Like right now, he feels very happy. He feels like he's protected. He feels, if anything, he feels, okay, it's a multitude of things. There's mixed feelings. So with regards to this scandal itself, or let's say the legalities surrounding this, he feels happy. But there's something that's beyond his control with regards to this. It feels like someone is going to be speaking out soon, or he's afraid that someone's going to be speaking out. He's afraid that they're giving me different scenarios. So it's either a person that's been on drugs or alcohol, or a person that's been like close to this situation. So let's say if he's like still really associated very closely with someone who's I'm gonna say a victim of him. Then he's afraid that there's some sort of distance that's happening, whether it's physical distance from this individual, or it's this individual distancing themselves from bad habits that are keeping them numb or unaware, you know, not really delving into what happened. And he's afraid that it's basically only time will tell when it actually comes to light. He kind of just has this feeling, this sinking feeling, like, well, I was so lazy, or I was so like confident, like, you know, when criminals are lazy because they're confident in their activities. So it's that feeling of like, I was so lazy that I left. It's kind of like leaving breadcrumbs, like I left something behind, or I did too much, or I went too far, or something happened where it's eventually going to come to light, and I just don't know when or how, and it's causing physical issues with him. So that's kind of where that mixed feeling is, because on one hand he's very happy, and on another hand he's kind of like, okay, sorry, I'm going all over the place, so let's start with that. On one hand, he's happy. He's got people that are on his side, that are protecting him, are supporting him, are keeping him safe, are keeping his kind of feels like his reputation clean, financially profiting, it's kind of like a payoff. Like if he was involved in some sort of issue and they paid off people, or there's like, there are people involved, like let's say like within the legal system paying them off, something to do with that, and feeling that essence of power, wealthy people controlling the outcome as much as they potentially could in order to protect him. It's almost as if he's like the gopher in a situation. So they'll protect him to a certain degree, and they kind of like him. There's some sort of like brotherhood or camaraderie there. And then it feels very evil. And then there's that feeling of stress. He must be religious in some way, or just spiritual in some way, to have that feeling or fear or awareness that he's eventually going to have to pay for his misdeeds. He's going to pay for it in some way. And so it's kind of that anticipation of when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen. And also this fear that there's another individual that is going to kind of wake up from what has happened to them and speak out. It feels like potentially drugs are involved some way, somehow, that are somehow tied into this. And like a false pregnancy, or a failed pregnancy. And if that, like that person who had the pregnancy that's involved with Ian is like, they feel guilty, they feel sick, they feel what's trapping them right now is just a combination of things. It could be where I'm seeing the drugs. It could be just being too close to him. Like when you're too close to your perpetrator, it can get very confusing. You don't really realize how severe it is, or that what's even going on, like it's being suppressed, like it's something like that. Could potentially be it. So they just don't even really fully understand the magnitude of what happened, or is happening. It could be that they feel marked. It's like, if I talk about this, or if I come forward, if I speak about this, like there's not really much that's gonna, like, good that'll come out of this. Like, at what cost? Like, there's no winner here. So what's the consequence if I speak out? But it's like Ian feels alone in this, because it feels like he might have shared this with someone, or people like have a hunch and he could be denying it, or it really is just a secret kept within him and like this other person. And basically he feels really alone in that, and just kind of on bated breath. When is this information gonna come out? Is it gonna come out? And it's causing a physical response from him, like high blood pressure, heart problems, like likelihood of a stroke or heart attack. Like, it's actually causing physical issues, physical ailments in him, because it's so much suppression of this guilt or fear. And it feels like very overwhelming secret to keep. He's not, like, he doesn't feel bad. He just doesn't want to deal with the consequences. Like, he likes it. He likes what happened. And the people who are helping him like it, or who have helped him in some way. And it feels like there's outsiders who are helping. There's like other people, there's like several, there's like, the way I'm seeing is Ian against several people, a lot of people, or something like that. And it feels like there's like so it would be like therapists or lawyers or whomever, like third parties who are gonna help these other people, and they're somehow gonna change. They're gonna find this information, or they're gonna find it's like that breadcrumb. They're gonna find that breadcrumb, or they're gonna say something or do something that's gonna change the trajectory of this. I don't know the situation. 2018, it's 2023 now, so I don't know how long, like, these processes, legal processes, like if it's already determined or not. So I don't really know what this is referring to, like if it's too late or something, I don't know, but I don't think it is. Like, that's kind of what the feeling that I thought I heard is, like, especially Olive, you in particular, since you requested this, if you are especially invested in this in some way, and it's like you just believe something could, I don't know, like you believe like something could happen more out of this, or you're hoping or whatever, like, then yeah, that's definitely a likelihood. But I don't know how that conflict would occur, because if he's involved with powerful people, how does that coincide with other people who, like, how does that coincide with justice being served? I mean, either way it's going to be, but yeah. I guess, I mean, in all ways, good will always outwin evil. The light will always be shown on this. People's hidden motives, or like, it will always come to light. Okay. It's interesting that I get these two, because I do feel like there's this religious element here somehow, and this as well, but I see this in two different ways. So this is more of like a spiritual, this is more religious, and so it's kind of like amplifying the message to me, because to me spiritual and religion are, it's just a means to an end of the same. And the way this is represented to me is Jesus and Mary. And it just feels like it's like whomever Ian's guilty. It's interesting. I don't know if I mentioned this. This is another part of the element of his energy, is like sure, like, get off of me, like that. Like, if his energy was as forthcoming as my energy, and we were to converse, he would be like smug and like, this is in the past, like, Leave it alone. Like, who cares? Like, it's done. It's been done. It's over with. Move on. Get over it. You don't know the whole story. But it's a lie. Like, he's putting on a front because if he's doubling down on his ego, he's essentially harnessing demonic energy around him, because what he's doing is, I don't really like to use the word narcissist that often, because I feel like people are still figuring out what exactly that means, and so it kind of gets played out. The word gets played out. But I do feel, this is my analysis from a psychic perspective, as far as psychopaths and sociopaths, it's a fear response. And as you double down on your fear response, you start becoming defensive, right? And so you're in that fight response. In your fear, you know, it's like fight or flight, so it's fighting. And so that's where people start putting masks on, and they aren't aware of their true feelings, because those parts of them start shutting down because they're in a fight response, because they're fearful, they feel unsafe. And so what it feels like with him is he's essentially creating a more psychopathic personality, where he keeps shutting down and shutting down and shutting down, becoming more fearful, becoming more defensive, and he's effectively becoming more psychopathic. That's what I see, because he doesn't want to deal with the consequences. He feels like he already dealt with it. It's like, well, but it's a lie, because it feels like people are helping him. And so it's like, well, in the court of law or in the court of public opinion, this is what's been determined, and so you need to back off, you need to leave me alone, when he's obviously ignoring the truth, you know? And the bigger picture of this is with Healed Ouch, is that he in his truest essence, his pure essence, that he's unaware of, because as you become more psychopathic, or as you become more engaged with the demonic realms, the more that you have a force field that essentially tricks you from being able to perceive the truth, because you're not healing, you're not wanting to see that, you're not letting that be revealed to you, so you're just pushing it away and pushing it away and pushing it away. And so it's because he feels so weak, right? To be so fearful is you're weak. You see yourself as everything else is a threat, and you're weak. And so his soul at its core wants to heal. And I think that's another message here with all of these spiritual entities surrounding, of basically placing this awareness that, yes, he will meet the consequences that he's so fearful of. He will meet his maker. He will have to deal with it in the spiritual or energetic sense. Your place, victims, is to heal yourself, because it feels like there's like an imposter in feeling like the victim or victims, they're going to struggle, but they'll be okay. But it's almost like feeling like, well, it's almost like they have to pretend that they're okay. or that they're healed, or that they've changed, or that they aren't always necessarily carrying this weight on them. There's just a lot of stuff that they have to deal with that. And so basically seeing it from this perspective, that he is weak and that he needs to heal, and that there are a lot of spiritual energies, good, benevolent spiritual energies here, blessing the victims and also blessing him, in the sense that you can see your way out of this, because just as justice is going to be served somehow in here, there's that spiritual justice as well that's going to be served. There's going to be a balance that has to occur, and in that balance means there's a lot of destruction of the things that are no longer working here, the things that are actually holding you back from being able to hear and listen to the guidance of the light. And so it's kind of just the message of reframing the way that you perceive him and perceive this, because then that kind of gives that self-empowerment back to whomever he is responsible for hurting, and also the people that are assisting him, backing him. Five of Stones, I feel like this is a huge mountain. That's the way that I'm seeing this, a huge mountain. And the Poet. It just feels like this is a situation that I'm seeing with this person, this information coming to light, and this third party finding the breadcrumb and connecting with this person, being like, I know what's going on here. I know what happened. Tell me the truth. Like that kind of thing. It's like, speak up. Tell me what's going on here. Like, I can help you. It's something like that. Okay? So it's up to them. It's up to them. It kind of feels like I'm painting it as if it's like this person's gonna find out. Someone's gonna find out, but I think it's ultimately up to this person what they're gonna do with this information, or what they're gonna do with like this person who wants to help them. Like, are you willing to you know, take this gesture of help? Like, are you gonna accept this help? So that's what I see. That's what I see here. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.